For nearly 3 weeks, Carolina Caro has been looking everywhere for her missing brother. Gilbert Caro is an opposition parliamentarian who was supposed to have legislative immunity. He was eating in a sandwich shop when security forces took him away on April 23rd, she says, and he hasn't been seen since.
Maybe they've done something to him and they want to hide it, because at this stage he should at least have been presented before a judge. My mother says that she feels that her son is still alive, but that he's having a hard time.
On May 7th, Edgar Zambrano, the vice president of the National Assembly, was taken away by security forces, car and all, and hasn't been seen since. His family, too, is demanding proof of life. They have reason for concern. Last year, an opposition councilman, Fernando Alban, allegedly jumped to his death from intelligence police headquarters where he'd been taken. Authorities say it was suicide, but his family and government opponents believe he was thrown out of the window to disguise his death by torture. This week, Amnesty International issued a report saying it had found evidence of extrajudicial executions, arbitrary detentions, and deaths and injuries due to excessive use of force by Nicolas Maduro's government, especially earlier this year when Venezuelans took to the streets demanding regime change.
In January and February, we received many reports from working-class areas where people fled their homes when the police special forces group arrived, because they are an extermination group. People run for their lives because they aren't afraid of being arrested, but of being assassinated.
The Maduro government is adamant that it does not persecute or exterminate opponents. But this 30-year-old activist, who asked not to be identified, says she's terrified to appear before a judge next week in her home state of Zulia, where she's being accused of political crimes.
When you're a political prisoner, the treatment is much more harsh. There are rapes with foreign objects. I've heard horrible testimonies. A police officer warned me that since my case was political, I had to prepare for the worst. That's why I fled.
It's a fear that the UN Commission on Human Rights, among many others, believes is well-founded. Lucia Newman, Al Jazeera, Caracas.